We're going to talk about how y varies directly with x. So we're looking at the ratio of y to x. Can y'all hear me and everything? Everything's good? All right. So in this case, they give us x and y values. So we're going to set up that ratio as 10/2. When we have a direct variation, this is a proportional relationship. Which means we have equal ratios. So either I can increase it or decrease it. We want to decrease this. So we're going to simplify. And if I simplify, this simplifies to 5/1 or just 5. So when I go to write my equation for this direct variation is y equals 5x. Now that I know my equation is y equals 5x, I can tell you my constant is 5. If I'm going to create a table of values, I can use that 5 to fill in a table because I know I'm multiplying across the table by 5. Also, what if I told you y is 20 and I want to know what x is? Could you tell me? How? What would I do? Who could tell me? What do I do to figure out what x is if I know y is 20?
You would multiply by 5.
If I had x, yes. If x was 20, yes. But this time I'm saying y is 20. So you're on the right track. We just got to look at it in a different respect. If I say y is 20, is it y here? What would I do? What is that called? If you have a value for a variable and you want to replace it. Right, Nathan, we're going to divide by 5, but we have to set it up first. If I'm going to divide by 5, what am I going to do with these two? What is that called? For example, I'm not here tomorrow. Who's going to be here?
Substitute.
Right, so I'm going to substitute 20 for y. So this will be 20 equals 5x. Now Nathan says to divide by 5. Yeah, I'm going to divide by 5. But we got to remember the process is we have to substitute first. So x equals 4. Got it? Let's continue. Let's try another one. Here we have, again, y varies directly with x, direct variation. So I have a proportional relationship of y to x. So my y value is 6, my x is 18. I'm going to simplify as far as I can, and this ends up with 1/3. So my equation is y equals 1/3 x. I'm not going to torture you with asking for any values on this one, just because it's a fraction. It's not fun. You're welcome. All right, I want you to try this next one on your own. I'll give you a minute to try it, and then we'll check in together. Again, our relationship is y over x, so 1.85 over 0.925. When I simplify, I end up with 2/1. So our equation is y equals 2. One is actually a graph. So we're going to go through this. If I have the equation y equals 5x, we're going to set up a little table of values. So if I have -1, 0, and 1, I want to use these points to graph them here. I know you guys don't have access to a graph, but it's okay. I'm going to show you how to do that without it. So you can just create your table for now. At least you can use that as a reference. So if I substitute a -1 for x, what does that give me back for y? In other words, 5 times -1 is what? -5. Thank you. What about 0 times 5? And then 1 times 5. So now I can use these points to graph. So here we have -1, 5, 0, 5. Oh, nope, sorry, totally did that wrong. -1, -5 is down here. And then 1, 5 is here. So when I graph this, there we go. Now, a couple of things we need to point out here is the graph passes through the origin. So it must have 0, 0 as a point, as well as the fact that it needs to be a function. If it must pass that vertical line test. So the two things that we need to point out here is that it must pass through origin and it must be a function. If those two things are true, then for sure it's a direct variation. And also we can tell by looking at the equation if we have that part. But if you only have a graph, then there's that as well. Remember the equation, you can't have any of this extra business here. Do you remember y equals mx plus b, which we're about to start working on? You can't have that plus b part. Now this one is a different direct variation. This one is y equals -2/5 x. Rather than create a table or anything, we can use Desmos to help us. I'm going to go to Desmos and show you that you can use that to help you. So we're going to do y equals, I'm going to use parentheses because it's a -2/5. Oops, it would help if I actually did, whoa, what is happening here? There, 5th x. There's our line. Does it pass through the origin? Yes. And of course, it's a straight line, it's a function and everything, so then yes, it is a direct variation. Desmos is cool like that. Questions? All right, I'm going to